Thanks for grabbing the Integrator Impact Tracker. I'm Stephanie Bowles, a fractional integrator with Catalyst. And our team of fractional integrators love to reflect on what we do and continue to elevate in our roles. And one of the tools that we've created is this impact tracker for you to use. Ideally, you'll be tracking yourself week to week on a quarterly basis, scoring yourself honestly in each of the areas of this tracker. Also, really taking a moment to capture your wins, because as we know, the more we stop to celebrate and really acknowledge where we're at, the more momentum we create for ourselves. And then it will also help you to set your focus for the coming week, so you can really just have an honest look at where you're at and where you might need to shift your attention. And then we can notice trends over time. So within the quarter, you can look week to week or even quarter to quarter. And a hot tip over here, nourish to flourish is how we continue to grow ourselves from the inside out. So make it a rock, make it prominent in the work that you're doing to really have the greatest effect. So if we look at the tracker, we'll have different sections here. So we have our impact areas around vision alignment, team leadership effectiveness, process and systems adherence, communication quality, personal energy, and sustainability. So within each of these, there's a question guiding you to then rate yourself on a scale of 1 to 10 with a guide in each one based on how you feel you're doing that week. So, am I helping us move towards our vision? 10. I'm going to rate myself a 10. And so you'll just do one column per week. And then after you rate yourself, you might be surprised by some of your scores, or, pleasantly surprised or not. But you'll think about that week and document any wins, what you're feeling really proud of. And then for next week's focus, maybe you'll pick some of the areas that scored lower than you had anticipated, or maybe you're really high somewhere that you've been working on and you want to continue growth in that area. And so you'll pick your top 3 priorities to move forward. And then when you reflect, and of course you can do this in more space, this is a small space here. What's one thing you learned about yourself or your leadership from that week? You can get creative here, just journaling. You can ask some of your teammates or your direct supervisor, your visionary. So again, this is really yours to make for you and to enhance how you're growing in your role as an integrator. So let's go through a quick example. Here's a week where we just finished our quarterly planning session. And so when I go through and rate myself, I feel really high on our vision alignment. My win was that we really set clear priorities as a full team. So I made sure to document that there. However, I was noticing, the team is mildly confident and engaged. There's a little bit of confusion around some of the metrics that we didn't get to. And then for process and systems adherence, because people are feeling that confusion, I just feel like there has been a lack in some of the process following, which is really having an impact on communication as well. It feels strained. It doesn't feel like I'm getting through. And that is also impacting my energy. Maybe I've also had some personal things happen during that week. And so I can see the fullness that there are a number of areas I need to work on. When I start thinking about my priorities down here based on those numbers, I definitely want to revisit whatever process it is with the leadership team where everyone's feeling off. I want to make sure that I build in breaks for myself so that I can show up with energy and sustain my own momentum and leadership. And then I want to take a few minutes to prep before each meeting too, so I can make sure I'm going in clear and concise for the team. And so one thing that's really come out of this reflection for me is that when my energy is low, the team follows. So I need to take care of myself so I can take care of others. So this is just an example of how you can allow this to flow and let the numbers speak to something that was happening that week. And if you have any questions, reach out. Would love to hear from you.